I really want your questions and your family business stories. I think everybody probably has one. And just a little bit more about the Family Business Alliance. A lot of you, has anyone in the room heard about it? Right. So it is a very few of my dear friends. It is kind of like the little known secret in Northeastern Pennsylvania. It is actually 25 years old. And you're like, how do I not know this? It was actually started, and think about great leaders. It was started by a group of family businesses that realized that they were not getting what they needed in the community to grow their business because family businesses, as we all know, have unique challenges and that interaction of family and business. So we continue that tradition today of doing innovative programming for family businesses and also providing resources for family businesses. Our major sponsors are Wilkes University and Penn State Scranton. Our business sponsors are M&T Bank and Rosen Jenkins and Greenwald, a law firm, who are also just incredible resources. Not only our schools with awesome professors, as I see Frank sitting here, and Frank Sorokach from Penn State Scranton, and we have awesome resources to share. But I think the best thing is really getting people together under that commonality of family business. But really, what is family business? What defines a family business? When you're preparing your taxes, there's not a box that says family business. You may put down that you are an LLC or an S Corp, but there's no family business. And if you look to see what I go to then to define it, a privately held company is really a family business. That the ownership is at least 50% privately held. If you get into a publicly traded company, obviously that number goes down a little bit more, but it's 10% or controlling interest in that. But okay, so now you're thinking, this is kind of big. This is not really right where I'm at, but yes, it is big. Anybody watch the show Succession? Oh, we have a few, yes. So I must admit, I binged watched it. It was probably just work, though, work related. But that drama of a crazy family with a crazy business, huge worldwide business, and that interaction of those family members, and you're talking about as like, who's in charge with my title. I really wanted to play a clip from this. 2 challenges. In a 1 minute and 48-second clip, the language would have had to have been bleeped out 3 times in that 1 minute and 48 seconds. But so that was a challenge. But maybe sometime for a night show, you could be watching that. But just the interactions create the drama that kind of bring us back to an awful lot of entertainment that we see in the world. And I just certainly hope that your business does not fall along those lines. So if you look at the opposite end of that spectrum and you see someone starting out in a business, and if they have some family funding, are they a family business? And I'm going to say that they are. And here's why. If you look at, this is a classic family business model from John Davis from the Harvard Business School. His 3-circle model, you'll see that there's 3 circles, our family, ownership, and the business. And I think you can clearly see that the small businesses in our area, when you think about that, most small businesses in the area really fall under the family business structure. Let's But for today, let's just focus on the bottom left circle, the family. That is always near and dear to our hearts and has helped us grow and has helped us get here. But if you start just to look at that circle, you'll see that there's really then 4 areas within that blue area. There are the family owners that are investors, which is the top part, like the grayish part under that green of ownership. There's family owners and employees. That could be an entrepreneur and an equal entrepreneur of a parent, and they're leaning over the kitchen table, hunkered down and working out the details. So that could be right there. And then it could also be like you might hire your sister to do some accounting, so that they are on the front, they're an employee getting an hourly pay. They're part of the family. So you have a crossover there. What I would like to just talk about is, for a smaller company, we really are in that lower left there, dealing with family. And there's really just, all of those interactions are just super important. And leadership in a family business is absolutely critical. And my first idea here is to model the behavior that you want to see. Dealing with things, and what is that? Is it Logan Roy, who is the patriarch in the TV show Succession? I kind of hope not. And then here we are, being that we're getting late and tired here before lunch, here's a few jokes are coming up. Why was leadership so easy at the family bakery? The parents were good role models. Thank you. But back to modeling the behavior that you want to see. How do you treat your employees and relatives when you're coming into work? Are you interested in what they are doing? What's going on in their lives? Or do you come into the room and go, this problem needs to be solved? Where are we with this? It's showing up for your family members. And we take a lot of those relationships in our families for granted, like that we could always dump on. I know when I get a call from my one daughter, there's an issue. And so we got to deal with it, and then we can move on. But you know how you need to relate to family. And so then but then how do you spend time with that person that you are meeting with? Do you ask them questions and really make people comfortable to share their ideas? And that's really leadership, to be able to bring out the leader in everybody else that you are working with. Here's a good one then too. Keeping family conflict outside the business. We'll start with a joke. What caused the downfall of the family textile business? They seemed to work well together, but the family relationships were only so-so. Keeping the family disagreement outside of the business is the number one challenge in a family business. And it can be just the family. I mean, we've all come from families that have a lot of dynamics going on, and then you put that under pressure in a work situation, it can become even more interesting. One thing that I love is a practice that one of our Family Business Alliance members follows. And as she is the CEO of her company, and she might call her father for an update to him as the patriarch. And she says, I'm calling you as the CEO of this business. And I want to talk to you about the situation that's going on here. Or She may call later back in the day and said, I'm calling as your daughter now, and I want to know, as your daughter, how you would advise me to do something. So setting that up and making it clear, setting those boundaries for your family so that and setting them up early as entrepreneurs launch out into a business, having these discussions with your parents or aunts and uncles who may be, funding your projects, how we have conversations. Maybe we sit down and schedule them. Maybe we put them on the calendar. Maybe they don't happen over pizza on Friday night. Like, when do we want these conversations to happen? And then also building on the positive, and I'm smiling at Michelle. We had when I had the great opportunity to work with Michelle at Wilkes University, we had a cool opportunity to have Mitzi Perdue in to speak. And Mitzi, and here I really show you how old I am, would happen to be the third wife of Frank Perdue. And Frank Perdue, and I'm not sure of other people, there's not many people older than me in the room, might know that Frank's tagline was that it takes a tough man to make a tender chicken. So that he built a huge empire of family business, Perdue Farms. And I mentioned Mitzi. Mitzi also came from a family business, the Hilton family. So she wrote a book, How to Make Your Family Business Last. She was a hoot. And what we talked about a lot was that get-togethers. She and their family, by this point, had come down generations. There were planned outings to get everybody together. There were events to get the family together so that they stayed in touch and that they knew one another. How important that is, and how also important that is right on the business level, that you are maybe doing monthly birthday celebrations at the business, that you celebrate your employees and your family. The next thing I have is embracing flexibility. Okay, one more joke. What kept the offspring from being as well-rounded as the founder? These are all dad jokes, gang, come on. They spent all day in their cubicle. Okay, so as far as embracing flexibility, life happens. Awesome things like marriages that then, and we're having one of those in our family this year. Crazy things like pandemics. And we've learned such a great deal over the past few years. The ability to adapt and change can help everyone compete in a tight labor market. Embracing the challenge and becoming flexible, being more accommodating and flexible with employees can go a long way in building trust with your employees and your family. I know family members that there's a great family business in our area who co-CEOs, and one went to the other and said, listen, I'm expecting a baby. I'll be working from home until this child is 5. I'll be in and out, but this is how it goes. And it was agreed, and they've grown monumentally since then. So it's embracing that and moving ideas forward. Okay, I think, and especially in a family business, there's a lot of side conversations. Oh, I told your mother that we were doing this, or your brother didn't tell you? I thought that that's the way it was. So really over-communicating in your business and in the family. Okay, one last joke, okay, and then I'll stop, I promise. Have you heard about the family landscapers who specialize in freeways? They found a happy median. Okay, moving right along. Okay. Again, back to over communicating in the family. Um, Unfortunately, having heard from a business that I was completely blindsided. I had no idea that my daughter was so unhappy in her job. We had meetings about the business, we argued about the business, and I don't know what we're going to do. She was a critical piece of that business. Well, as a leader, you need to communicate what's your vision and then also to ask, what's your vision for your future? And have those conversations. It's about the business, but it's also about the family's future, and it's about your family's future. There's so many things in a family business that really complicate and can be amazing to work in. And then also, oftentimes, I think people are afraid to share their vision, or because they're like, maybe it's just sort of half-baked idea, and maybe the family really doesn't have enough money for this, but what will dad think? And so these things are super challenging. And I think one of the ways the Family Business Alliance has to help with that is being able to find your peers and talk. I think my overall arching theme of all of this is communication through all of these 5 points. But what if your business problem is actually your brother? And you trying to figure out, well, what do I do? How do I talk to them about it? And coming to a space that has the commonality of family business, and you can share best practices and share experiences, is really rather invaluable. What we do here at the Family Business Alliance, we put together groups of people that are like 8 to 10 people in a group so that everybody can be heard. We don't put any competitors in the room, and we don't put any family members in the room. And overall, there's a confidentiality agreement that every member of the Family Business Alliance has to sign and abide by. I think there's so many family business stories and so many amazing family businesses in our area. The things that hit the news, the Succession series, those are all the crazy, bad things, but there's so many good things and so much joy and feeling of fulfillment of having that family business. Are there any family business stories that anyone would like to share, or any questions for me? Yes, Ken. Right. Well, I'm just zipping back to this quickly. I think when you're small, it's more easily managed because there's less conversations to be had. Is it technical issues? Absolutely. People not knowing where to find things, but then that's why I refer them to you, Ken. There's always great resources out there. And people don't know. People don't know about the SBDCs and Ben Franklin. And so there's many incredible tools, law firms. People are afraid of chatting with their, calling up a lawyer. Oh, it's going to be expensive. But like how getting these sources together so that we can all learn from one another. I think that the more players that you put in those circles, the more complicated that it gets as far as communication. And I don't believe that a family business can thrive as well if it doesn't show up and show up as leaders and show up as people that everybody wants to work with and to grow with. No, 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 absolutely. I think that the mindset of, and one of my favorite pastors in the area has a joke, and I think I was sharing it with Marty Wolf the other day, that everybody should come to Scranton for the end of time because it's not going to come until 40 years later. And I think that that kind of holds true with our mindsets of a lot of established family businesses in the area. And I think that you are seeing that break, that the if the patriarch or matriarch says, well, this is a family business, what else were you going to do with your life? And I really do see then people going, no, I really would like to kind of get into politics and not, I don't really want to be bothered with that. That's so many headaches. Um, Absolutely a trend. And then the other huge trend that I'm seeing is private equity. So many firms every day are getting multiple offers from private equity firms. You've grown your business, you've done a great job. Um, they are absolutely looking for businesses to buy and to bundle up and create a larger. And that could be an amazing exit strategy. One of the things we talk about is what's your plan for your business? Are you are you in it for the long haul? Do you want the next generation to be in? Have you had those conversations? But maybe if there isn't somebody or it's not the right thing, maybe private equity is the perfect thing. So I think family business dynamics are being affected by a lot of different factors. And again, back to that communication, back to that safe space, and seeing what will work and sharing best practices.